Graduating college was a milestone, a moment that marked the beginning of a new chapter. I had just landed a job at a prestigious firm, 3 hours away from the college town where Faustina, my fiancée, was finishing her last year. We were so full of hope, so certain of the life we were building together. Every weekend, Faustina would make that long drive to be with me. We'd spend our days together, caught up in the excitement of our future, decorating our new place, making plans, dreaming about everything we would achieve. It felt like we had the whole world in front of us. We talked endlessly about the life we'd create, the house we'd buy, the vacations we'd take, the family we'd raise. We were young, in love, and nothing else seemed to matter. But looking back, I can see now that those perfect weekends were starting to feel routine. Comfortable, yes, but also predictable. And sometimes, when things feel too safe, you don't notice the cracks forming beneath the surface. I was so focused on my career, on making something of myself, that I didn't see the subtle shifts happening in our relationship. The missed phone calls, the weekends that felt just a little bit shorter, the conversations that weren't as deep as they used to be. I told myself it was just the distance, that it was temporary. But deep down, I knew something was changing. You think you know someone, truly know them. You trust them with your heart, your future. But sometimes, trust can blind you. It can make you ignore the warning signs, the little things that tell you something isn't right. We were both so caught up in our own worlds, me with my job, her with her studies, that we started drifting apart without even realizing it. It's funny how life works. One minute, everything seems perfect, and the next, you're questioning everything you thought you knew.
In an upscale party, Faustina, looking radiant in a luxurious gown, engaging in light-hearted conversation with her friends, Francesca and Lillian.
So, Faustina, what's next after graduation? I bet Michael can't wait to have you all to himself. Are you excited to finally move in with him?
Of course, moving in with Michael is the plan, but I'm soaking up every moment of college life until then. It's my last chance to enjoy this freedom, you know?
Lillian, who's been quietly observing, raises an eyebrow, sensing there's more beneath Faustina's words. Lillian teasingly.
Freedom, huh? Sounds like there's a story behind that.
Faustina laughs, brushing it off, but there's a flicker of something deeper in her gaze.
What I didn't know back then was that Faustina had already started living a double life. She wasn't just enjoying her final year of college, she was getting lost in it. There was Rock, a guy she met at the beginning of the semester. He was everything I wasn't. Exciting, unpredictable, a thrill that made her forget everything we'd built together. It wasn't just about the thrill, it was about escape. Rock was a way for her to feel alive, to hold on to a part of herself that she felt was slipping away. I was so focused on our future, on building something stable, that I didn't see how desperately she was clinging to the present. I remember walking into that party. The energy was electric. Everyone was celebrating, and I was genuinely happy to be there, to be a part of Faustina's big day. As soon as I stepped through the door, I ran into Gabriel, one of my closest friends from college. He was grinning from ear to ear, practically bouncing with excitement. He'd just gotten a brand new Stingray from his parents as a graduation gift, and he couldn't wait to show it off. Gabriel was thrilled, and honestly, so was I. A brand new Stingray? That's the kind of car you dream about. I was all set to head down and check it out, but first, I needed to hit the bathroom. Just a quick stop, nothing out of the ordinary. I told him I'd be down in a minute, and he said he'd be waiting outside. It was such a small decision, something I didn't even think twice about. Just a quick detour before I'd go down and admire the car. I've done it 100 times. Walked into that bedroom, used that bathroom, and walked right back out. But that's the thing about life, isn't it? Sometimes, the biggest changes start with the smallest, most ordinary moments. You don't see them coming until they hit you like a freight train. As I reached for the bathroom door, I had no idea that everything was about to change. The sound of the party outside faded away, leaving only the quiet tension in the room. I thought I was just taking care of a quick errand, but really, I was about to step into the moment that would turn my entire life upside down. I was just washing my hands, thinking about Gabriel's new car and the fun we'd have checking it out. But then, I heard Faustina's voice. First, I thought maybe she was on the phone or talking to someone outside the room. But as I listened closer, my heart sank. Her voice was right there, just outside the bathroom door. I froze. Why was she in here? Who was she talking to? I peeked through the crack in the door, and that's when I saw them, Faustina and Rock. They walked into the room together, laughing softly, completely unaware that I was just feet away, watching their every move. My heart started pounding in my chest. It felt like the air had been sucked out of the room. I wanted to scream, to rush out and confront them, but I was rooted to the spot, paralyzed by the shock of it all. They started undressing each other right there in front of me, like I didn't exist, like everything we had meant nothing. It was like watching a nightmare unfold in slow motion. My mind was racing, but I couldn't think straight. All I knew was that I needed proof of what I was seeing with my own eyes. I grabbed Faustina's camera off the dresser, the same one I'd given her as a gift, and turned it on. My hands were shaking, but I knew I had to record this. I had to capture the truth, no matter how much it hurt to see it. As I started filming, I felt like I was outside my own body, like I was watching someone else go through this horror. The tension in the room was unbearable, every second stretching out like an eternity. Then Rock whispered to Faustina, "This is our last time together. We need to make it count." Faustina smiled softly. "Don't worry, Michael's with Gabriel. We have all the time we need." Hearing those words, I felt my world collapse. They were so comfortable, so casual, like this was just another day for them. And me? I was nothing more than a fool, someone they could easily deceive. But I didn't move. I didn't make a sound. I just kept filming, knowing that this was the evidence I needed to finally see the truth for what it was. The betrayal was real, and there was no going back. As I stood there, staring at that ring, everything around me seemed to blur. The world had become this strange, twisted version of reality where nothing made sense anymore. The ring, our ring, it was supposed to be the promise of a lifetime together, a future we dreamed about for years. But now it was just a painful reminder of how far we'd fallen apart. I reached out and took the ring, feeling its cold metal in my hand. It felt heavy, like it was weighed down with all the broken promises and shattered dreams. In that moment, I knew it wasn't hers anymore. It belonged to someone who truly valued it, who valued what it stood for. And that person wasn't Faustina. I knew I had to leave something behind, something that would make her realize the gravity of what she'd done. I wasn't going to confront her. Not now. Not like this. So, I took a piece of paper, scribbled down a few words, and left it with the camera. "Made a movie of you and Loverboy. Hope you like it." It was the only way I could make her understand that this, what she'd done, couldn't be undone. As I walked out of that room, everything felt surreal. The air was thick with the scent of betrayal. The sounds of the party outside were distant echoes. I felt like I was walking through a dream, a nightmare I couldn't wake up from. Every step I took was heavy, but I knew it was the only way forward. There was no turning back. I couldn't let her keep the ring, and I couldn't let her keep me tied to this lie. As I descended the stairs, the noise from the party faded away, and all I could hear was my own heartbeat pounding in my ears. Sitting in that car, I felt empty, like everything I'd ever known had been ripped away in an instant. But even through the pain, I knew one thing for sure. This was the end of us, and the beginning of something else, something that I would have to figure out on my own. Faustina, with a shaky voice filled with regret. "Michael, I don't even know where to start. What you saw, it didn't mean anything. It was just sex. A mistake." My voice cold and laced with the pain of betrayal. "A mistake? No, Faustina. A mistake is spilling coffee on your favorite shirt. This was betrayal. How long has this been going on?" She said, "Since the start of the semester." But it didn't mean anything, I swear. The pain was unbearable, but I needed to hear her say it, to confirm the truth I'd been trying to ignore. Every word she spoke was like a knife twisting in the wound, cutting deeper into the betrayal that had already left me shattered. Faustina said, I don't blame you for taking the ring. I know I don't deserve it." Then I said, "You're right. You don't. And you don't deserve me either." Francesca walked in. "You're better off without her, Michael. She didn't value what you two had." In those moments, I realized that sometimes the people who truly care about you are the ones who pick up the pieces when everything falls apart. It wasn't going to be easy, but I knew I wasn't alone. And as much as it hurt, I had to believe that there was something better waiting for me on the other side of all this. Sometimes, the people you trust the most are the ones who hurt you the deepest. The pain they leave behind can feel unbearable, like a wound that never heals. But that pain, it's a teacher. It forces you to confront your reality, to rebuild from the ruins, and to find a strength you never knew you had. It's in those darkest moments that you learn to value yourself, to recognize that your worth isn't defined by someone else's actions. You rise above the ashes, not as the person you were, but as someone stronger, more resilient, and ready to face whatever comes next. Every ending is a new beginning. The past is a part of me, but it doesn't define me. I'm moving forward, and for the first time in a long time, I'm hopeful for what's to come.